What happens if your business is agile, but your brand language isn't? And how can you build a brand language that's consistent, but flexes in different channels for different situations? Hi, I'm Chris West from Verbal Identity. We're working with all kinds of brand owners all around the world, facing all different kinds of challenges. And the one thing they want to do is improve their brand language. So we're working with them and their writers, training them in the brand language and how to write better, faster, and more clearly. Whenever we run a brand voice training session, the number one question on everyone's list is, how do we make our brand voice more consistent? And that's relatively easy, actually. You just pick 4 values for your brand voice and make sure they're consistent with your brand values, and then train everyone in it, and then hope for the best. Question number 2 on everyone's list is, how do we build a brand voice that's consistent but flexes in different channels for different situations? And that's a lot harder. When I started writing probably 20 years ago now, there were only 3 or 4 channels. You had TV, you had print, poster, radio, and then you had DM. And you could get by with 3 or 4 values for your brand voice because there were probably literally only 2 people writing for your brand. Someone at your ad agency, someone at your DM agency. But now you'll have dozens of different channels, which means you have dozens of different external agencies, and you have your in-house teams as well, maybe even your own in-house agency. And you have probably at least 100 different people writing for your brand voice. So having 3 or 4 brand values no longer works. If you really want to define your voice, you need to understand that brand language works on 3 levels. At 10,000 feet, you have the brand voice's narrative. Who we are, what we stand for, what we stand against, the kind of world we believe in. And funnily enough, if you get that right, almost everything else is right afterwards. But it is a narrative for the brand voice, not a narrative for the brand as a whole. Down at 1,000 feet, that's where the tone operates. But you need to be much more precise in defining your brand values. Human, friendly, warm and approachable might have been good in about 2002. It's not good now because everyone is those things, and actually you need to be far more precise in the way you define your brand values. Down at ground level are the nuts and bolts. Teams spend a surprising amount of time writing and rewriting, looking for approval on things such as the words and phrases we use and we don't use. And even writing some templates can save a lot of time. But the final thing you need to do is imagine your tone of voice operating on something like one of those 80s graphic equalizers you used to get on stereo hi-fi systems, where you can turn up the bass and turn down the treble for your house music, or if the in-laws are coming round and you want to impress them, then you turn up the treble, turn down the bass and put some opera on. If you imagine the values for your tone of voice operating with that kind of graphic equalizer, then for different occasions you can turn certain values up and certain values down, never to 0, they still have to be there. Imagine, for example, the difference between communicating with your customers on TikTok versus answering a customer's complaint letter. I hope that you would answer those with a slightly different nuance and changing your tone of voice, but still being consistent. Really, that's one of the things that we work with. If you'd like to find out more details on how we help brand owners all around the world work with their brand language, work with their writers, in-house and their external agencies to improve their brand language, make it work faster, make it more clear, individualize it, engage their customers more, then please email me. I'm Chris at verbalidentity.com. We're running a series of training courses coming up very soon, and I can send you more details on those. Please put either 3 levels of the voice in your subject line if you'd like me to tell you more about the 3 levels of the voice and how that works, or training courses in the subject line, and I'll send you some more details of upcoming training courses. Thank you.